You're listening to Combat Radio with Ethan Dettenmeyer, right here on LA Talk Radio.
We're just going to have to get this show started. Welcome to another episode of Combat Radio. Actually, lots of interesting announcements, including a convention appearance at PopCon that we're about to do. With me to start the show is Mr. Mark Ryan, the big robot, better known as Bumblebee to the kids. How are you, Mark?
Hey. I'm damned fine this morning. How are you?
Look at these guys.
Looking at the group.
We're just going to do a tiny little thing known as a radio show. I hope nobody minds. You guys are out there going, hey, man, it's cooler out here in the green room than it is actually in the booth doing the show with Ethan.
You need to grow a beard.
Do I?
You need to grow a beard.
Would that make me cooler?
Yeah, something like that.
He's got a semi-beard. He's got a semi-beard going at the moment.
Welcome back, our friend Adrian Paul.
Good morning.
How are you?
How are you? Looking very
good.
fit and fine and feisty this morning. Clear-eyed.
Fit, fine, and feisty. I'm the 3X.
Bushy-tailed.
Just as well as those 3X, right?
Clear-eyed.
Bushy tail. Don't tell anybody I got a tail.
Adrian, as many of you may know, came to fame with many things. Highlander, the Highlander series, several movies, War of the Worlds, Dark Shadows, and most notably, probably recently, the Peace Fund, which we'll get to in a minute. And also involved in today's episode. Did you get that fixed? Are you okay with that? Go ahead. You can. No. What do you need? Up?
Here. Oh, I don't want to break this right in the beginning.
We'll just chat.
James has broken the
too high.
He's been here 2 minutes.
How's that?
Perfect.
He's being adjusted in the studio as we speak.
That's James Liu. You know James Liu from everything from Inception to Pirates of the Caribbean to The Last Samurai to the movie he directed, 18 Fingers of Death, to Big Trouble in Little China, where he thrashed everyone. Hey, man, what's up with this dude? Isn't that your line when Kurt Russell says, any of these dudes savvy English?
Yeah, that was my one good line there.
When he's got the gun and says, this makes you feel better, like Dirty Harry or something. So anyway, James Liu's in with us, and we're going to try not to bust the place up before this episode of Combat Radio.
So tell me, how many years is it, James? All right, let's leave it at
that. It was.
I looked at you when you came in. You got the mustache, your hair's shorter now.
Right,
and I'm like, I know this dude. I was on the phone, admittedly. But
Did you guys work together?
well,
No, we never. We actually met in Vancouver. Well, I was coordinating the Crow, the TV series,
That's right. Yeah.
and I was there. It was a martial art event
Yeah. What was it? We did. Yeah. Was it?
with
Was
the
it
guy
breaking?
Rick
Rich Farashi. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The ice breaking.
the break man.
Yeah. God, he broke some stuff.
Yeah.
Including
And before we actually get this thing going, we have to take a moment and say happy birthday to Mark Ryan.
You're 28 again.
Yeah, 39. I've been 39 for a decade now.
You
39 for a
look
decade.
actually 40, though. I have to say. I'm sorry.
You now look
You know what
40.
it is, James? It's I juice my own fresh vegetables and fruit, and I use it because my body is a temple.
Whose temple? That's
Adrian's been with
Whose
me
temple?
when we've been in New Zealand, and I have partaken of much fresh
libacious.
fruit. Yeah. Squeezed into a bottle of wine on more than one occasion.
Well, that's fruit.
Yes, it is
Yes.
fruit. Yes, it's fruit. Yeah, it's very cleansing for the soul. So.
Some call it juice.
Yeah, no, yes, it's another year. It's kind of bizarre because we were just talking about it with Derek. You look at yourself in the mirror and you go, "What the?" You know what I mean? What inside? Nothing changes. I'm still this soul that I always was. But you just kind of look at yourself and go, "What happened?" You know.
So I just came from a chiropractic appointment, and I was just discussing age with him. He said, there is a group of people in the world that don't understand what middle age is. And it's a culture because they say, well, middle age is basically based on when you're going to die. So if you don't know when you're going to die, you don't really know when your middle age is. But because of Western society says, I'm in middle age, we mentally think ourselves of being in middle age, therefore we get older quicker. And if you don't live your life like that, and you live your life like a young man or young woman most of the time, you're not going to go through the middle age syndrome as quickly because your brain's telling you you're not middle aged anymore.
Right, yeah.
Perfect.
So I agree.
That's my excuse. That's why I never grow up.
Yeah, but you've looked the same in the 15 years I've known you. You have not aged. And I don't know what the secret is. I mean, Adrian
It's
acts like he's
mental.
10 years old most
This
of the
guy
time.
looks better. It's
Oh,
amazing.
thank you.
Oh, here we go.
Better.
It's just $50.
Okay, here's the bus, James. Yeah.
In good shape.
Good thing this is radio.
It is mental. It's definitely a mental attitudinal thing. There's no doubt about
Right.
it.
But that is so
Attitude
true.
defines
If you're going to
outcome.
die at 60, 30,
Is
you're
your
middle age.
Exactly. So what is middle age?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of disease is mental. My ex. My wife's grandmother, basically, she was always saying, "Oh, I got this wrong. I'm going to have cancer. I'm going to have cancer. I got this wrong." She was taking all these pills, and she didn't need the pills. But eventually, she got cancer. She didn't have it.
Are you
She
saying
didn't
that's a
need it.
psychological thing?
I think a lot of things are psychological. If you think about your brain is actually it triggers an electrical impulse. Everything you move on your hand in your thought is an electrical impulse, as are your hands and everything you do. Therefore, thoughts are electrical impulses. If you put bad thoughts into your body, it's going to destroy or create certain things in your body that are not necessarily need to be there. So we are an electrical impulse. We do that in our lives all the many years that we live. So I truly believe that. I think believing it and actually practicing it are two totally different things. Saying I've got to be positive, I've got to be positive, because there's a lot. Life comes in the middle. But
right.
You should have been here when Mike Denner was here, because Mike Denner's from Ancient Aliens and he's a real physicist. And we were having this discussion about thoughts created reality. I believe that you create your own reality to a great
I do
extent.
too.
And the more you think in a positive, creative way, the more likelihood that is that you are going to attract creative and positive.
That was an expanded version of this show, or that show went in directions I was just not prepared for. Like, how many dimensions have actually been proven to exist, and is there an afterlife? I mean,
well, how many have been
proven
proven to exist?
He says there's 4, but they think there's 26.
Yes.
Or something to that effect
Dimensions.
in the 20s.
Wow, proven to exist.
Well, the question I asked him, actually, and I was thinking about it the whole rest of that day, is there another sort of universe right around us that travels at a different speed, so we can't perceive it with our physiological makeup?
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about. What we
is
talked
that like
about
the parallel universe? Like, he's rubbing his eyes going, what did I walk into?
Yeah, I just woke up. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, you want to kill some guys with some swords and stuff?
The 4 pillars of the universe used to be gravity, light, strong or weak, nuclear. And now we know there's at least that we can measure at least 2 others. One is dark matter and the other is dark energy, because we can actually see what dark matter's effect is. When we point Hubble out into the galaxy, we actually know now that there is dark matter out there which makes up 90% of the universe that exists. We are made up of bright matter and we only perceive 10% of it. So what is the other 90% doing?
It's having lunch.
It's having lunch.
They're in the dark.
I love it. And when you get things like this, we were talking about the CERN, when the Large Hadron Collider created antimatter. We grew up with the Starship Enterprise being driven by an antimatter engine. Hey, the antimatter engines are overheating, Captain. Well, at the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, they actually manufactured and kept in a magnetic trap for 6.5 minutes antimatter. And then it self-annihilated itself.
You're listening to Combat Radio with Ethan Dettenmeyer, right here on LA Talk Radio.